Welcome to TRS Clips, where you'll find happiness through your own curiosity. What happened pre-2016?
Oh, I mean, the thing is, Trump had not been taken seriously as a politician before 2016. Romney brought him on stage in 2012 for his endorsement, but Romney just probably thought of him as just another endorser. He didn't realize how strong Trump would become. Probably didn't realize how strong he would become, because he had run as sort of a joke candidacy for a long time. In many ways, you know, there's two ways of looking at the world, more than two, but at least two, which are the great man theory of history, where a great man changes history, right? And then there's also like the tides of history view, where there's like impersonal forces that are larger than any of us and people are just carried aloft on them. And what's interesting is, I think with Trump, it's both great man theory of history. Great man, by the way, doesn't mean good man. It means great, like in a sense, Stalin is a great man in that sense, a bad man, but a great man. So I'm not saying great man is good man here, but just great man in the sense of someone who affects the flow by their personality and their energy. This is actually the superposition of two things, because there was Twitter and there was technology, and that had basically offered an arbitrage opportunity that the Brexit guys also took, and that actually also Prime Minister Modi benefited from, and that Bukele of El Salvador benefited from. He used that. All of these smart politicians saw, wait a second, I can just do an end run around the media, and I can just broadcast directly to the people, and I can have true democracy. But that's what actually true democracy is. Social media, some people say, oh, social media is a threat to democracy. Social media is true democracy. You know why? Everybody's voting all the time on everything. They're upvoting, right? You have, in theory, total freedom of speech. Anybody can say anything. They form coalitions. They're debating every issue. It's like the ultimate democracy in a sense, right? And also in the sense of you to your followers is like, a direct communication to them. You're not, they call it the media because it mediates. So before, you had to go and speak to the New York Times or whatever, and they'd go and print, and they would distort your words however it made money for them, right? A noisy channel in the middle that can transpose your words, edit them, cut them in a way that suits the New York Times best, not you, right? And then your followers might get misled by that. And so the New York Times and the media was fundamentally in control of the whole situation because they could mediate the response. Disintermediating them and speaking around them and speaking directly was just not something they'd ever planned on. And that's why the reaction against Trump was so ferocious. It was really Trump versus the media. And now it's sort of decloaked, and it's admitted that media are Democrats and Democrats are media, that's, a thing. Media is still upstream of Democrats. You know why? Elected Democrats. Because much of the US political system is not just who's elected. Because if you're like Sulzberger, who we mentioned, and he's inherited a newspaper, he outlasts any election cycle. He can't be fired, right? If you're like Alexander Soros, who inherited Soros's fortune, he can't be fired. He runs these nonprofits and NGOs. He's not accountable to market or electoral forces, right? If you're a bureaucrat in the federal government of the US, you have tenure, you can't be fired. If you're a professor in academia, you have tenure, you can't be fired. So media, nonprofits, the bureaucracy, and academia all have people who can't be fired, who surround and ring the elected part of the state. And that's actually the real control plane. That's a permanent establishment that can't be fired, that has tenure, that's also invisible. It's actually a lot of people, so it's not like one person you can single out, right? So Trump decided to go against this. I don't think he fully understood what he was signing up for, right? And over the last 10 years, it's this, it's complicated. It's like, at this point, he's a historical figure. Like I would have said that even last week, but at this point, absolutely a historical figure in the sense of having absolutely no previous elected position, to my knowledge, at least, right? Just coming in like a bull in a china shop and tweeting his positions, and got attacked from all sides in 2015, 2016. The thing that was really interesting was normally when a candidate says something that's like outside of the spectrum of what can be said, the media cancels him and then their campaign is just done and dead, right? Trump was the first person who could withstand that. And the reason he could withstand that is he had Twitter. So for example, there's one famous kind of encounter, I think, with John McCain or something, who tried to attack him in 2015. And he said something like that he liked the guys who didn't get captured, right? So the thing is, McCain himself, the old school American war hero was a war hero. He killed lots of the enemy and so on and so forth. McCain represented, or Kerry represented, a different kind of quote war hero, where Kerry protested the war, or McCain was captured and beaten up and so on. And so it was more of a victim than a traditional hero. So Trump, like with unerring political instincts, zeroed in on something that actually a big chunk of his base also agreed with, that, well, actually, you're right. A real hero is someone who's like Audie Murphy, who goes and shoots up the enemy, not someone who gets captured. But in a sort of like a real zinger kind of way. But it was too hot for normal, normal press. It's like too insulting. Oh my God, you're disrespecting our troops, blah, 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 blah. A lot of troops loved it, but it was, and because they didn't want McCain sending them to war and so on. That's the other aspect of it. Many people, many Republicans, many others were just dissatisfied with the level of, dissatisfied actually underestimates it. They were enraged at the fact that they had been reasonably well off and now were poor. That their jobs had been sent to China, for example. So they would think, or after the financial crisis, other people got bailouts and they didn't. They went bust and they had to struggle. But guys on the news, did well.
Hey, if you enjoyed today's clip, make sure you check out all the other clips we've uploaded on this channel. You'll find a clip related to almost every single topic, as long as you're willing to search for it.